Awesome. Hey, everybody, all you writers out there, it's time to learn everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your best-selling book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I'm here live with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. Joanie, welcome.
Hi there, Elizabeth. Hi there, everybody. Happy day to you. You know, we always do these on Fridays, and I feel like that's the best thing. It's a TGIF celebration. So,
Yes,
yes, glad
yes.
everybody's here. And you look great today. I love your
Oh,
flowers, and you look great.
oh, thank you. So do you, Joanie. We're both wearing pink, which is very cool.
Yes, and
Um,
we didn't even plan it.
Right, exactly, exactly. So you and I are knee deep in the editing of Healing Religious Hurts, Stories and Tips to Find Love and Peace, which comes out October 1st. We're having a big launch in Oregon at Paschal Winery, a beautiful party, also at Pride, because there's a theme of LGBTQ plus topics in the book, and it's going to be phenomenal. So we're going to talk today about editing and the process of editing a book. So, Joni, let's get started with you just sharing an overview of what it's like to edit.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to start with my prop, and you're going to probably laugh at this prop, and I better grab my napkin here because it's a little messy. It's a little messy. But when I think of editing, I think of I got to open this up here. I got to
Okay.
open this up here. So
Okay.
I have this bag or this plastic wrap, and
Uh-huh.
inside here is well, I guess I can't get that open. So I'm just going to have to show it to you, everybody.
Okay.
These are pieces of fat from my steak dinner last night. And
Okay.
so when I think of editing, it's trim the fat. It's, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like you have to edit, you have to trim the stuff you don't need. I didn't want this in my gut. So when you write your book, you get to figure out what do you really want in your book. Now is the
Wow.
time to edit and really trim the fat. So just think about what that might feel like, what it might taste like, what it's all about. And so, yeah, I'm so glad I didn't open it up out of my plastic wrap after all.
Yeah,
And you know what?
actually.
It sort of gets a smell to it too. And I think that's true when we write a book. If we have stuff in the book that isn't good, it leaves an odor, it leaves a smell, it leaves a bad taste in the reader's mouth.
Right.
So the
Right,
more you
right.
can edit and trim the fat, yeah, that's what you do. And thanks to
Joni.
you, Elizabeth, from your coaching, you taught me that. Oh, thanks
Wow.
be to God.
Oh, that is so powerful, Joni. So if you're listening, Joni just held up some plastic wrap that had chunks of something that looked so disgusting. I thought it was dead worms at first, but it was chunks of fat that she cut off her steak from dinner last night, and it looked really gross. And
Yes,
so, yeah, I call it literary liposuction, where we suction out all the extra words, ideas, paragraphs, even chapters sometimes or scenes because it's too much and it can be redundant and it can be boring and it can feel
yeah,
flabby and it
yeah,
just sometimes feels like Joni, you used a word yesterday. It was rambling. Sounds
yes,
rambling. It's like, okay, we get the point, and then it gets back to less is more. You want it to be lean and mean and strong and powerful. And so readers don't want to get bored because if you're bored, the reader will be bored. And so
exactly.
that was brilliant, brilliant. But how do you determine what is extraneous? That's where the editor comes in. And when we're doing this collaborative effort for especially things that Joni wrote, and then I read, it's easier for me to perform the trimming. Whereas I have some chapters and Joni's like, this is super repetitive from the other chapter. I was unaware because I wrote it and it's hard to see your own, criticisms or, constructive criticism that makes it better.
Right.
So that's why teamwork makes the dream work, a second
Yes,
set of eyes. So if you out there are writing a book and you've finished it, you need a professional editor, especially if you self-publish. Do not publish a book without having a professional editor, make sure that your punctuation is perfect. Because if somebody like myself, who eats, sleeps, and breathes perfect punctuation, reads your book and sees the uh, quote marks are all jacked up with the commas outside of the quote marks and the question marks and the extra spaces, and I won't read it. That has happened. Somebody gave me their self-published book once years ago, and I opened it up, and the punctuation was just like this tornado of marks on the page, and I closed the book. I am not going to read that. It is so disruptive, and it's actually enraging to me as a writer and a publisher to see jacked up punctuation, period. And
Oh
anybody,
my gosh. Oh my God. And do I mess that up all the time? Oh, I don't know how many thousands of things you've probably read of mine, and you're probably going, oh, Joni, are you ever gonna learn? How do you do the quotes and the commas and the exclamations? And I'm so grateful for you. And you're always so kind about it, Elizabeth. And you're probably infuriated on the inside, but you come across as a beautiful, smiling person saying, let me help you. Let's figure this out, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things about the punctuation and English grammar and spelling and what you can do and what you can't do legally. And oh my gosh, I've learned so much. And yes, that's all part of the editing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you know what? This is such a great point, Joni. I'm going to add it to my book coaching program because in September I have a women only this time, 6 months to best-selling book success, which is where Joni wrote her first book, Nun Better, which is a bestseller. But I'm actually going to add a lesson on punctuation and grammar because it's so important and it will save, if you're working with an editor, it's going to save you money and time because you have to
Mm.
pay someone to make all these corrections. So the cleaner the version of the book you send to them, the less money you'll have to pay because it's usually by word, by page that you pay. So I'm making a note of that right now.
Excellent. Excellent.
Um,
And it
yeah.
reminds me of English classes back when we all went to school. How important it was for the English teacher to edit and proof before you turned in your what do they call drafts? It was always called drafts.
Hmm.
And then you'd get these essays back from your teacher, and you see all the red ink or this or that, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad it was on the draft and not the final one. And oh my gosh, yes, there's so much to it to improve. And I guess think of editing, you were talking about this just a second ago, Elizabeth. It's not just the trimming of the fat, it's not just the punctuation, but it's being the best that you can be as a writer. So just as an athlete has to work extra hard at certain things to be really, really skilled, maybe at 3-point shots or maybe at passing the volleyball, or you get really skilled in that. And that's the same with being a writer. The you will get more skilled the more that you have a professional editor or somebody there to help you to learn, to understand, and to get better.
I love that. Yes, yes. Oh, I love that so much. So it's really cool because you and I can both offer such differing perspectives on this. So when we publish books, and we've published more than 50 books now in 8 years here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, we get books in all forms. Some of them are like impeccable and don't need very, very light editing, and some of them are just jacked with, the punctuation and that's all over the place and all that stuff. But that's what we do. We clean it up. We're experts at that. And also in terms of editing to trim the fat, as you so brilliantly displayed with the steak fat, um, it's an intuitive act. Yeah, Joni's holding it up again. It looks really gross. It's an intuitive act where the editor just has um instincts about what should stay in or what should stay out or what doesn't fit with the themes, because every book has specific themes, and Healing Religious Hurts in particular is all about um religious hurts. every different religion, people, all different ages. We have 17 contributors from across the country sharing their stories, and it's really phenomenal. So this book is aiming to be a tool to help people heal their religious hurts. So Joni and I both share our stories, and our contributors, we edited their stories as well. And we're really, really grateful. So, Joni, what else in the course? This is your third book now. So, what else have you learned about editing since None Better, Joyously Free, and now Healing Religious Hurts?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is to ask for help from people that know how to edit. And I think when I first started, that was Leah Owens. And then I progressed to Sally Roy. And oh my gosh, your sister Catherine is a phenomenal editor.
Uh-huh.
And she is so into details. And I think what I've learned is that's not my forte, is to look at the details of something and to realize that is not how I uniquely think. I mean, I'm a big person, a big picture kind of person. So editing fine details is very difficult for me. And so what I learned was to rely on my team to do that and to appreciate and thank them for their skill level in doing that. I think that's the most important thing. And yeah, it's a teamwork thing, and you need those extra set of eyeballs.
Yes,
That would
yeah,
have been a
teamwork.
great prop. It could have been bringing all kinds of eyeballs here, you know?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
What about
Um,
you? What do you learn from editing?
So my first experience, well, when I was a newspaper reporter, I would write my story on deadline, which means really fast. Like that day, I would get an assignment. I'd have to go report on something, gather all the information, write the story by 5 o'clock to make the next day's paper. So it was rushed. And then my editor would get it and they would send it back to me all marked up with what I call constructive criticism. They would be like, "Oh, you buried the lead." The lead is the main point of the story. And it's like buried means you put it way down in the story, not at the top where it belongs. So,
Mm,
oh, and you
mm,
need a quote from this expert to balance out the objectivity of the story. So I was used to that experience and I saw it as some people get mad, but I saw it as a way to improve my story. And
mm,
the story could be very short, it could be long, nothing like a book, but it taught me the skill of receiving constructive criticism from an expert, because the editor was the expert, and answering their questions and revising accordingly. And no, it's not fun when you have to go back to something you thought was done and add stuff, call more people for quotes, get more details, statistics, whatever. But it taught me to be open to constructive criticism to make it better. So then when I embarked on book writing, my first editor, Natalia Aponte, who is amazing, Tor Forge Books and St. Martin's Press, my first three novels, oh my gosh, she taught me so much. She told me to read different books that I teach in my book coaching program. She told me to add characters to make conflict the engine that drives the story, novels, but can be applied to nonfiction as well. I just learned so much from her. And it was old school before the internet. She literally took my manuscript, printed out on paper, 8.5 by 11 with a red pen marked up, crossed off major. I couldn't believe when I got it back and there was stuff like literally chunks X'd out. Like, wait a minute, I wrote that. And it was just not needed to push the story forward. So I learned that. So yeah, but you know what? You have to have a certain temperament. I was open to learning and my writing improved exponentially as a result of her instruction. But some people get mad if you criticize or offer uh constructive criticism, but they're not going to progress. So they'll just
yes.
let them simmer in their madness.
Yes. Well, and I have to tell you, I wrote None Better, and then with you, Joyously Free, and then Healing Religious Earth. I think I've gotten better. I really believe I have gotten
Uh-huh.
better as a writer. And
Yeah.
you're right, to be open to the criticism or the help. I just call it the help.
Hmm.
And I think maybe I've gone from a fourth grade writing level, if you had to put it on a spectrum of something, I've gone from fourth grade to high school to university, even though I've already graduated from university. But when you don't write a lot, you maybe text a lot, or you write a letter or a card or something, it's different than actually writing a book. And I think that makes a difference. But I still practice my editing when I send an email out or send a text. I'm now looking at it again and saying, is that the right word? Is that the right spelling? And sometimes I'm so fast, I don't really care. And other times it's like, Joanie, slow down. It does make a difference on how a person's going to receive it.
I love
Yes,
it. Love
yes.
it.
And,
Love
and
it.
I
Love
loved you
it.
sharing your personal stories about that. It's fun to see you, a pro. I can just picture these big red marks on your paper, going, oh my gosh, Elizabeth has also grown, and how fun that we now, anybody listening, you take advantage of Elizabeth's book coaching classes and her editing program and her business. It's your business now. It's not just a paper with big marks of red on it. Oh my gollies.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's really exciting because when you realize how much you've grown. And so then my new book, The Biz Tribe, where you activate your goddess power, which just came out a week ago and
Uh-huh.
is the first in a series of 6 books. Um, when I write myself, I edit myself and I'm able to, trim the fat myself, which is really exciting. So everything we're talking about, this book, the Goddess book, Healing Religious Hurts, Joyously Free, None Better, all available at twosisterswriting.com, in addition to information about my 6 months to best-selling book success program, where I coach you to write your book in 6 months, which Joanie succeeded at doing. That is also on the coaching page of our website. And Catherine and I are also doing a one-day writing retreat in Ashland, Oregon on Saturday, October 19th, which you can find at Eventbrite. So, super excited about all of these wonderful things. We hope that you can order our books because they are life-changing. They're all powerful tools that you can use to write, publish, and promote a best-selling book. That's why we've been going live for almost a year now, every Friday here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel. So, Joni, any last words about editing?
Yes. Yes. It just hit me. I think, you always say write, publish, and promote. Why isn't it write, edit, publish, and promote?
Oh, wow, that's
I, I
true.
I would throw that in there because it is like really, really important, really, really
Yes,
important. So
wonderful.
just an idea, but
Okay,
thank
excellent.
you for what you do for myself and for other writers, and just continue to have great success in your business and your programs that you do. And again, my heart is just very thankful. And everybody listening, I hope you gained a little tip today. And remember, next time you have some steak or something, trim the fat and think about what you're writing, and trim that writing up.
Wonderful. I
Make it lean
love it.
and mean.
That was brilliant, Joni. That was brilliant. So, all of you,
Thank you.
please check out all of our other shows that we've done over the past year that teach you everything you need to know to write, edit, publish, and promote your book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, and we wish you happy writing and happy reading. We'll see you next week.
You bet. Have a great day. Big hugs.